Am I the asshole? For suggesting we lock up the Christmas presents after what my niece did last year. Every year, my siblings and I, alongside our families, spend Christmas with our parents. We stay at their house for a few days. Everyone opens gifts together. It's hectic but a lot of fun. The kids enjoy having one big sleepover with their cousins. My mom likes having everyone home again. We all pitch in. It's a win-win. Last year, my brother married Sally. She has a 7-year-old daughter, Mindy. This was their first Christmas with us. It seemed like they were having a fun time. Christmas Eve, all the kids went to the finished basement to sleep. We told the kids to not open up gifts without us and to wake us up when they did. This was repeated several times. Once the kids were asleep, we put all the gifts under the tree and eventually went to bed ourselves. The next morning, around 6 a.m., I wake up early and head downstairs. I find the living room a mess. Half of the gifts were unwrapped. Several of them had been ripped from their boxes. There was Mindy, playing with some of the toys. Most of the ones weren't even hers. She knows how to read and they were all labeled, so she knew this. I was in shock. I went and got my brother, Sally, alongside the rest of the adults. Sally was super embarrassed. My mom was very upset. The other kids weren't up yet, so we tried to salvage what we could while Sally talked to Mindy. Not everything could be fixed and she had broken a couple of toys completely. The broken ones weren't even her own toys. Luckily, not everything was damaged and even the boxes that were, the kids didn't notice. But my nephew's sister's son had one of his big gifts destroyed and he was sad when everyone else got theirs while he was told he'd have to wait for a new one to come back in. Sally and my brother reimbursed everyone. Mindy didn't get to open gifts with everyone but joined the festivities later. She apologized, but kept making excuses. She said she didn't want to wait and she wanted to see what everyone else got. We're all preparing to go to my parents again this year. I put in the group chat that we should either lock the door to the living room this year or put a gate around the tree so no one can get to it. I didn't even name names, just specifically said no one. Sally and my brother got mad, accusing me of treating Mindy like a baby or an animal. I said I'm not, but this is a precaution so none of the kids are tempted. They said this isn't necessary and I'm holding a mistake over Mindy's head. I said no, I'm not, I'm trying to make sure we have a no repeat. Because I know it'll be asked. Mindy doesn't have autism or ADHD, and even if she did, my daughter has ADHD and both my sister's kids are on the spectrum. They knew better. I don't think Mindy was malicious. She was only 6. But I do think precautions should be made. My parents agree with me and my brother is mad that I put it in their heads. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I don't understand why your bro and Sil are upset. You aren't asking them to lock Mindy in a room or put an ankle bracelet on her or even that they have a talk with her before Christmas to remind her not to open presents. You're not advocating for her to march through the house while you ring a bell and scream shame at her. You're suggesting that the door to the living room gets locked overnight. Nothing needs to be said to the kids because if they stay in bed, they won't even know. Not the asshole. Hasn't your brother ever heard once bitten, twice shy? It's bad enough to have one Christmas ruined. Taking precautions is far better than having them say it'll never happen again and then having it ruined again. It's just not worth the risk when a simple precaution can eliminate the risk. You may be showing some mistrust, but it's earned mistrust. Not the asshole. Mindy didn't just open the gifts, she destroyed some of them. That is absolutely not normal for a 6-year-old. Locking the living room door is the sensible thing to do and shouldn't offend anyone. Not the asshole. One ruined Christmas is plenty, and what you're suggesting isn't extreme. No temptation, no ruined gifts, no embarrassment, no wasted money. Not the asshole. It's unfortunate you even have to lock the door, but your brother and stepsister need to discipline their daughter better. It's not just the fact she opened them early, it's that she broke other people's gifts. Not the asshole. It's only fair after what happened last year that you at least suggest taking precautions. I would recommending locking up your kids' gifts and or getting up extremely early in case Mindy gets up early to try her Tasmanian devil routine again. My daughter was 4 last Christmas. You want to know how many presents she opened without anyone around or broke anything? Not one. Not the asshole. Once bitten, twice shy, as others have said. Not the asshole. Sounds like your brother and Sally are still embarrassed and just want everyone to forget what Mindy did. This is an untimely reminder of that, but ultimately makes complete sense in the circumstances. Not the asshole. The door can be unlocked before any of the children get up in the morning. If all of the children are still asleep when the adults get up, then it's no harm, no foul, and no destroyed gifts. Not the asshole. If your brother and Sally are so sure Mindy will follow the rules this year, then she will never know the door to the living room is locked. Lock the door. Say nothing to any of the kids. If they all do as they're told, none of them will know anything was done differently. If they try to pull a Mindy this year, then that potential crisis is averted. Not the asshole. How else will kids learn? Showing explicitly that the gifts are off limits will make sure that no one has an ideas. Locking the living room for would be my vote. Not the asshole. You're taking a reasonable precaution because of something that happened the year before. You don't want to risk the other kids being let down again because of something that could have been prevented. Not the asshole. It was my oldest child's birthday yesterday. My youngest saw the gifts and immediately went over to open one. I held my youngest and explained to them who they were for and why, and then when it was their turn to have a birthday part, there would be plenty of gifts just for them. Those gifts were untouched for the entire duration of the party. My youngest is 4. It's possible to teach self-control. And no, Mindy didn't want to see what everyone else got. She played with it. She wanted what everyone else got. Not the asshole. The child is more than old enough to know she should not have done that and that she was doing something really wrong that deserved punishment. And she didn't get any punishment, joined in all the festivities, and now, when she gets the chance to do it all again, her parents are angry that you don't trust her. Not the asshole. The other children deserve not to have their Christmas ruined. Locking a door is simple, effective, and won't cause any harm. Not the asshole. A 6-year-old should have been mature enough to know that not all of those gifts were hers, and if your brother and his wife want to get offended and think that their girl is being singled out by your suggestion to lock the doors, it's because she is, since she was unable to keep her hands to herself. Not the asshole. But I'd keep presents locked in the trunk of your car to remove the temptation. Not the asshole. Not at all. Of course this should be prevented from happening again. Your brother and Sally are ridiculous for not understanding. Not the asshole. If Mindy was not malicious and just being a 6-year-old, which is semi-reasonable, but not totally, my 4-year-old knows better, then that is all the more reason for locking things. If a kid does not yet have a skill, such as impulse control, as parents it's our job to put systems in place to compensate for them to mitigate risks. Keep your kids' presents in the trunk of your car until the morning. Until one Christmas that was screwed up is quite enough. You didn't sign Lee hair out or name names. Not the asshole. Gotta do what you gotta do to avoid that from happening again. Not the asshole. If they won't agree to lock the door, I would keep the presents you are giving others in the room where you are sleeping, and don't put them out until the next morning when you are awake and can supervise. Your sister and parents can choose to do the same. If any presents get destroyed, it will only be those your brother and Sil were planning to give. Info: if you truly believe Mindy wouldn't do this again, are there other kids likely to be tempted? What age range of kids are we talking, and why do you think there might be a repeat? You're not the asshole, because I definitely get it, since she didn't just open gifts but also broke several that weren't hers, which also made the day less fun for other kids. This is why I'm kinda happy we have a different way of doing Christmas here. Santa visits us during the day and hands out gifts directly to the kids.